and they force all of us to work hard in the rice field, and they don't give enough food to eat. Sometimes the relative betray them. And for example, my uncle, he's a high position, he works for the government, and then they trick him, said, okay, you need to, even 3 people, we have 1 leader on top of them watching us. We cannot say any word related to the world we used to live before, where we grow up. We cannot sing a song. They controlling, and they find fault to kill all of us.
Welcome to the That Guy in Cambodia podcast. In today's episode, I'm interviewing Jenny Mallow, who is a survivor of the Khmer Rouge and now a missionary in rural Cambodia with her husband, Craig Mallow, who I'll also be having on the podcast. I hope that you realize that what people went through in the Khmer Rouge is really a whole different level of trauma. So this episode gets a little emotional around the middle, and while recording it, we actually took a 30-minute break just to calm the emotions. I know that the term trauma gets tossed around fairly lightly in some of the Western circles that I'm in, and I really hope that people, especially young viewers who are listening, just to realize that this trauma is a whole different level. And I don't want to downplay people's trauma, but I really want people to realize the stuff people went through in the Khmer Rouge is really beyond the comprehension of many people who've grown up in relatively peaceful Western societies. With that, I hope that this sobering interview can be enjoyable and informative. Blessings. Jenny, thank you so much for coming today.
Yes.
Do you want to start with your name and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so my name is Jenny. Jenny is my second name, and my real name, Cambodian name, is Sampwas. After I became a citizen, so I changed to easy for people to call me. So that's why I have second name, Jenny.
Do your friends or family still call you Sampwa?
Yes, my family still call me Sampwas. And Cambodian people I work with, they know me only Sampwas.
Sampwas. And what is the meaning behind that name?
Sampwas, it means charming.
Yeah. Well, I think your charm worked on Craig.
Thank you, because some of the shop, beauty shop, they put it Sampwas Niri.
Yeah, there we go. So did you open a beauty shop or not? You got the beauty of the Lord.
I think from my grandma that gave this name to me.
I love it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love it. So I thought in this interview, we could go chronologically in time order. So you could tell us a little bit about growing up, and then we'll trace everything back to present day. And you can tell us about what God's doing here in Cambodia. Sound good?
Yes. Thank you to help me here to share my life story, how I grew up, and how my life changed through Jesus Christ.
Yes, I am so excited. I remember when I first came to Cambodia, I don't know if you remember us meeting in that little cafe, I think S Cafe up in Tokok. I remember talking to you and Craig and feeling like such a blessing. You know, you have so much that I could learn from. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I really hope this impacts some people that are listening.
Yes, thank you to do that. I think everything from God. It's not from myself.
Amen.
Yeah, so anyway, I would like to share about the story about myself. I grew up in Phnom Penh, the city of Phnom Penh, with my 8 siblings. My father, he's a soldier, but he's not soldier that go to fight. He worked with a big government place in the city called Borodien, and his job is accounting. So how I grew up in the city. And I used to go to the school near Tukuk, not far from here, called Santomok School. So yeah, I appreciate my life that I grew up with the good parent. That my mom, she's a really good mom, take care all of us. And I grew up with my grandma. She believe in strong Buddhist. And because my mom, she's the youngest daughter. She's the third one because her father passed away when she was a baby. So my grandma stayed with us. So she's teaching me a lot how to follow Buddhas, how to chant, and how to worship Buddhas every night before I go to sleep, I always do the chanting, Buddha chanting. And so...
Did you know what the chants are? Because it's all in Sanskrit, right?
Yes,
so
in Sanskrit.
Did you know and understand? Did your grandma teach you about the meaning?
Not really.
It's just because a lot of Buddhism is kind of in Cambodia seems to be like a habit of
like the word beginning of worship Buddhist. So I say it 3 times. And then I say another thing. And then because of Cambodian has been war fighting, so another thing that I add probably myself to protect myself, I ask for help before I go to sleep to protect myself from 4 directions to protect me, and I feel safe before I go to sleep. So that how I believe.
Right. So when you grew up, did you have any spiritual things happen to you that you maybe saw spirits or things? Because it was a very spiritual culture.
Yes. So I used to believe in the spirit too. When I go to the forest or when I go to some place, they have a place to worship. I always stop to say something and worship that place.
Right. Like along the road, sometimes you'd stop and maybe burn the incense.
Burn the incense, or ask for help, ask for protect. So, and because I heard about the people around me, especially old people, always sharing about the spirit cannot harm, cannot attack us. So I believe Buddhist and the spirit too, positive.
And Buddhism, seems like in Cambodia especially, there's a lot of spiritual and spirit worship kind of tied up in that, right?
Yes.
Originally Buddha didn't want to be worshipped, right?
That's right. Yeah. But at the temple, they have, for example, the statue for people go to worship. But behind temple, they have the spirit house or something. So when I grow up, I kind of worship both. Buddhist and the spirit, because I feel like I'm afraid all of that. So this is my background.
And was it hard growing up with 8 siblings, you said?
Yes.
Wow. So that must have been a pretty packed household with 8 siblings and your grandma. Tell me a little bit about what that was like, family meals, and what is it like growing up in?
Yeah, so I have grandma, so she get up early, so she's sweeping the floor or leave around the home, and she cooking breakfast for us when we get up. She, okay, come for breakfast before you go to school. And after that, my mom, because my brother stays sleep with my mom. And I think for us, about 4 or 5 us, we sleep with grandma. Yeah, so.
And you were close with your grandma, right?
Yeah, I'm very close to my grandma. I'm the one in the family. My mom have 3 daughters. I'm the third one. And then after that, I have 5 brothers under me. So that's good. I'm the third one. So my sister worked harder than me to take care of me and my 5 brothers.
Right. So, and was this a wooden house or
it's wooden house. Yeah.
Right. And did you have animals as well?
We have dog and cat.
Yeah.
So, we have a small yard in front. It's not a big house, but I like my house. I like my neighborhood. I like my friend around me.
Do you remember playing the games with other kids in the neighborhood?
Yes. Yeah. We go out to play with my friend that we create some of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Cambodian game that create.
Do you know some of the names of the Cambodian games so if there's Khmer listeners, they would recognize?
Yes,
What are the
we
names?
call Lod Ante, like
Okay.
with the swing, and Lod Kampur, like two people holding the string,
Yeah.
or Lane Tre, you cut like a stick,
Uh-huh.
and with the ball we use the orange lime, small lime, to throw up, and then
you have to pick up the sticks
the
and
stick.
grab.
First time we pick up one, the second one we pick up two.
Oh,
the
right,
third one
right.
we pick up three. So something that we create or we draw something on the ground, we call like airplane, the way that with the wing, and we step on it. Yeah, and we draw like a square, so we use one foot to step on it.
And you draw with chalk or maybe charcoal or
no charcoal. We just use a stick to draw.
Yeah, in the
on the ground.
Yeah.
And I'll climb up on the tree. I love to climb up on a tamarind tree, because behind my house, my neighbor, they have a tamarind tree, and the tamarind tree, the branch very strong. Even small one is not easy to break. When the tamarind fruit come, I love to climb up and pick the fruit and eat the sour fruit.
Yes.
And I love tamarind tree. And my mom planted some of they call small one, we call kantuot. They have sweet and sour. And so I love to climb up on the kantuot tree and pick it up, eat with chili. And
oh, yes, my wife, Lekana, loves that. Tell me some of your favorite foods growing up.
Yeah, I love something, sour, kantuot.
How about some lamachu?
Yeah, so I like something sour to dip with the chili. And I like Cambodian. Most Cambodian, we love sour food too.
Like the green mango,
that's
maybe
why,
machu.
Machu trakuan, machu prolet, machu slug ampel.
Yeah.
And some law proha. So some law cocoa, some law juyun, some law machu krương. And one thing I'm different, I don't eat prohok like the other Cambodian.
Okay.
But the prohok put in the soup, I eat.
Like
when the prohok by itself, like Cambodian called prohok chinchram, prohok ti, the krương, I don't eat that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm different from Cambodian.
And
people.
What's your favorite breakfast for?
I love to eat rice pudding called bobor.
Yeah.
With the dry meat, like dry.
Like trengiet, dried fish.
Dry beef.
Yeah.
Dry pork. Well, my grandma prepared for us in the morning.
Sounds like she was good at cooking.
Yes, so we love to eat bobor in the morning.
I love it. So could you tell me a bit about what that was like going from what sounds like a pretty good childhood to now comes Khmer Rouge? How did that start and what was that like? Yes,
so I start from 1970 when they try for Sihanouk. They try
the king.
Yeah, they try not the king to come to Cambodia and then have a crew. That time government not allowed the king to come, and during they call London time.
Right.
So I heard around that time, 1970, I was so happy to welcome Sihanouk come. So my mom dressed up me, go and stand on the big road. Tong Road, welcome King Sihanouk. And then I was disappointed because the king didn't come. So in that time, and from that time, I think Cambodia started to change. And then the government take the control. The government they call Lon Nol, the prime minister, the one Lon Nol.
And there was kind of
took over
invasion of Vietnam inside. I think there was. Did Lon Nol drive out a lot of Vietnamese?
Not connect with Vietnamese.
Okay.
Yeah, but he controlled the country. Lon Nol controlled the country. And after that, start to have war from the outside of the Cambodia. Start to fight. The Khmer Rouge start to fight. with the government. And then 1 year to another year, start to fighting with each other and become closer and closer to the city of Phnom Penh. And my father, he was afraid of the fighting and especially Khmer Rouge tried to bomb the city.
Right.
So my father was afraid. So he decided to stop working as a soldier. So he moved my family to live in Battambang province. And that time, I think 1970, my father took 6 of us by plane that time because the Khmer Rouge, they destroyed the bridge and destroyed
so you couldn't
road.
Get there.
My family cannot go by land.
Right.
So we had to fly from Phnom Penh to Battambang.
Was that a public flight or was that a military flight?
Public flight in that time. And because of my grandma, she cannot go with us because she have a grandkid and her 2 sons live in Phnom Penh. And the other thing, my family, we have a lot of relatives that live in the city. And most of my relatives work with the government.
I see.
And my background of my relative, like my great-grandpa used to work in the king palace too. With the king as people that go with the king. When the king go to anywhere, he go with the king and then chanting the Cambodian, they call Baku.
Okay.
Baku is about 8 or 10 people have to go with the king and chanting, blessing the king when the king go to anywhere.
Wow.
So my family most of my family, we grow up in the city. And so I will tell more about the happen to the city people. So after that, my father moved us from the city, took me and my 5 brothers and my mom to Battambang, left one of my sisters already married. She had 1 son, and my second sister, they're in college. She cannot go with us. So, and then we moved to the Battambang to have a safe place to stay. And after that, 1975, Khmer Rouge took over the whole country. So I heard about that from the radio. And I was so happy that, okay, Cambodia free now. So I can go back to the city to see my grandma and my cousin, my relative, my sister. And then when the Khmer Rouge took over, they came by like a truck with the gun. And they said, the city people need to welcome. So we can cook some food and welcome Khmer Rouge. So I went there. I went to see the Khmer Rouge people. And they said, okay, Cambodia have peace right now. And I was disappointed. It's not that what I want. And then after that, the Khmer Rouge changed. They kicked us out from the provincial in Battambang. We live in the city of Battambang. They said, they tricked us. They said, okay, we need to clean the enemy. So all the people had to get out 3 days and you can come back again. And before that, they tricked my father. They said, any soldier, you can go to one place. They told him to stay in one temple. And they call the temple, they call Tamum Temple. So, and they put my father, he's not a high,
ranks.
rank. Right. And he go to one temple and another one, my uncle, he go to another temple. And then after that, they told us we had to get out. So I heard about my father, where my father stay. So my mom and my 5 brothers, we carry something that we can carry and we had to walk by land. So I walked by land and I slept on the road before I found my father in the forest. But it was good. We found him. And then after that, I found my father. But because of the place, I never stay in the forest. It's hard for me to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, they said, oh, anybody have a place, you can go back to where you want to go. So my mom and my father, we know somebody, another place close to the Battambang town.
Mm-hmm.
So we moved there. They call Kampong Sambua place near the Wat Kao, a temple of Wat Kao. So we end up in that place. And so we stay there. And good thing, most of the people don't know about our background. They don't know about my father's background. And because my father, he's a nice guy. He's a friendly guy. And my mom, because we grow up in the city, we speak the way we speak the language.
Mm-hmm.
We use different words to call my parent, my grandma. We use different because the city people call the father, we call pa,
Mm-hmm.
and we call mother, we call ma.
But then in the countryside, is it
we call
oh my?
my, pok.
Yeah.
And then, for example, I call my grandma, I call not just Yi, I call her Look Yi. I call my uncle not like Om, I call Pa Om. So we using different words to call relatives.
So they would know you're from Phnom Penh. So
That's
now
right.
you had to change the words,
That's
right? To blend in.
Because they know that our skin is different. And then the way we interact with each other different.
A little bit different. Yeah.
A little bit different.
So you had to start adapting.
So when I know about that, so I start to learn what people call oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah, yay, or mid bong in the community. For example, they call mid bong, mid paon.
Yeah.
So I start to change the word I use.
Right.
And my father, he know about that. He said, don't tell anybody my background is a soldier.
Right.
You tell people that I'm a businessman.
Because if they knew, the Khmer Rouge would have taken them out. They would have removed them. So now, how did your father escape when they told all the military people to go to the temple? How did they escape? Because weren't they going to try and kill them?
My father escaped. They took him to dump him in the forest.
Right. But they were planning on killing him, right? But how did he get away?
I heard a story. They call Opongmoan in Battambang. They plan to kill them.
Yeah.
But I think probably the leader changed mind.
Yeah.
Said, don't kill them.
And so you just let them go?
Let them go. So that's why we came and stay in the near the temple of Wat Kao instead.
Okay. So now as you're trying to blend in, did you guys always stay in Battambang? Because there was quite a bit of Khmer presence. Did Battambang get bombed as well or no?
No,
okay,
no. Battambang, my father chose to go to Battambang because no bomb.
Right.
Because Battambang is close to Thailand.
Oh, okay.
They are afraid of Thai people, Thai country. And I think because they trade something, buy something from Thailand too.
I see. Yeah, they were getting supplies or something.
Supply. So that the same place, I think in the country is Battambang.
But your relatives in Phnom Penh, they were in big danger. Did they get sent out of the city? What happened?
That's why the city people, they said the same thing. They said they need to get out after 3 days. They can come back to the city.
I heard they said, hey, the Americans are going to bomb. Everyone needs to go out of the city. So they went out of the city and then the Khmer Rouge came in. Did that happen for your family too?
No, they said, they need to clean the enemy in the city. So after 3 days, you can come back. So all of my relatives in the city, most of them got killed because they go back to their relative.
They went back to the Phnom Penh to their relative, or you
No,
mean they
no,
went
outside.
Oh.
Outside of Phnom Penh.
How did they get killed by that?
Because they know their background, what they used to work in the past. So the people in the village know their background. So they cannot hide from them.
I see.
Yeah.
So in that time, people in the village were telling the Khmer Rouge about different, or were they being forced to with guns and stuff?
Yeah. Sometimes the relative betray.
Yeah, wow.
Betray.
Why would they do that?
Because sometimes the inside, they don't like it. Because they don't like, they used to be city. They used to be a proud people. They used to treat me.
They had a lot of money.
Yeah, they have a lot of money.
Look down on me.
Yeah, that's right. And all of that. So sometimes the relative betray them. And for example, my uncle, he's a high position. He worked for the government. And then they trick him, said, okay, you need to go and welcome Sihanouk. And he believed. Yeah. He go with the group to welcome Sihanouk. And after that, he never come back.
Wow.
Kill him. And in Battambang, one of my uncle is a high position work for government too. He tricked him too. And he say to him, like, you stay in one place because you used to work for the high position. So he did too. He took him by truck and to hear him at the place after that I heard about called, the mountain out of Battambang. Yeah, I forgot the name. Phnom something.
Yeah, totally. So you guys, what did you guys do with that mountain? Did you guys stay there?
Yeah, that for me, because after I met my father, I moved and to stay close to the Battambang city instead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys were pretty safe up there, or did you guys see some of the conflict come up?
When I got there, I was so happy because the village called, like I said, that village safe place because close to the city. They don't really kick them out. Yeah. So they used to stay in their house. They used to stay in the big house, and they have a lot of food to eat. They just have a lot of rice to eat. And so that's good for us. So those people, the village people gave us some rice to eat. And sometimes we help them to pound the rice. My brother helped them to do something like fishing.
Right,
because the place we stay is close to the river. So we're doing that. So we have enough rice to eat.
So what happened then from there to how did you end up in the camps in Thailand?
Yeah, so I stayed there 1975. I stayed in that village. And the first year, we have enough rice to eat. But later on, 1977, they really torture people by killing if they know people background. For example, they start to kill the student. You have, for example, background you used to study or business, you wear glasses, or your background on Chinese.
Or you knew languages.
Yeah, you don't speak clear Cambodia, especially the background of soldier. And they start to kill. And the way they kill, they said, you need to go and study. They call,ត្រូវទៅរៀន
Right.
ទៅរៀន បន្ថែមទៀត And so they never come back.
Wow.
So they kill. And another way they kill is they don't give enough food to eat. And they force people to work hard in the rice field. No time to rest from the morning until evening. And people cannot wear the clothes. You have to change to wear black clothes. If you have clothes like color, you have to dye their clothes. The lady had to wear long sleeve, and the hair, you cannot keep it long for lady. you had to cut the front short and the back short.
And why was that? They wanted everyone to be the same and equal?
Yeah, the same. And they divide the family. Like my brother from 14 to 7 years old, they had to put their small children in the group, and you elder, the old people to watch them.
Yeah.
And that time, I think I was 14 in that time, and divide me to live in another group with the Jew. So I separate from my family, and they separate from the girl and from the boy, separate from each other. And we have to learn how to say the word, how to say the word for the communist word.
I see.
And we had to say good thing
about communism.
Communist, and we listen to the song that they create some song about the communist song, and we have to learn all of that. And then they divide like 10 people have one leader on top of us. 100 people have people controlling us for 100 people. So, and then even 3 people, we have one leader on top of that, watching us. We cannot say any word relate to the world we used to live before, where we grow up. We cannot sing a song, the song like we know before.
Right.
We can sing only the song that they're teaching us.
What was your thought as a kid? Did that just seem so weird? Or did it seem like, oh, they're trying to do a good thing? What did it feel like?
No, I know. They controlling. And they find fault to kill all of us.
Oh, they started doing that.
Start to do that. And sometimes I meet some of the friends, the same background of me, some sharing about myself, but because I trust that person.
Right.
And sometimes when we want to have fun, we afraid people hear us.
Right.
When we stay on the ground, what we did to have fun, we go up on the tree. And we sit on the tree and we can talk on the tree. So we can look down. If we see some people walking under us, we can see that. So the fun place for us to escape and hiding and go up on the tree.
And did you have to, you were 14, then did you have to do some of the labor as well?
Yes, the same thing. I had to work like the other people.
So how long did you have to work and do that education camp? How long were you there?
Yeah, until,
5 years?
Yeah, 4.5 years.
4.5,
yep. And
what was the hardest thing that you had to do during that time? What was the hardest thing that made you do?
Harder thing when the time I get sick.
Oh.
Because when I get sick, they force me to work.
Wow.
And
yeah, that's right. You don't have to share. Don't worry.
For example, the hard time when I separate from my family.
Yeah. That would be incredibly hard because you had to do that for years. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks so much for sharing, because I think my generation has no idea what it's like. At this point, we paused the interview for 30 minutes or so, allowing emotions to settle. I offered to end the interview there, but instead, Jenny prayed and said she wanted to continue. I'm very thankful she did, as it allowed us all to hear the rest of her story.
So I would like to continue to talk about the Ring Communist, 1977. So the Khmer Rouge start to kill people, educated people, and they separate from the children, from the parent, from the mother, and they force all of us to work hard in the rice field, and they don't give enough food to eat. Yes, I remember 1977, my father, he's still alive. And one time I came back home and he tried to help me. One time I really, really sick. I have a sick stomach.
Yeah.
And my father
Cool.
brought me to the hospital in the communist age. They used the temple change to become hospital, and they used the temple to become to torture people. And they destroy all the statue of Buddhists. And so they really destroy the religion. They don't want people to believe in religion anymore. So I remember my father, he was so worried about when I was sick.
Yeah.
And I remember him. And later on, I separated from him again. And then when I separated from him, and I was really sick again because they didn't give me enough food to eat. I was starving, and I escaped from where I worked, go to home to meet my mother. And I was really sick. My mom said, you rather find a way to stay at the hospital that they use the temple to become a hospital. I think, thank God, I went there. They received me. They let me sleep at the temple. And that temple not far from my house. So like the evening, I try to go to my mom. My mom will give me some food. And then after that, I walk back behind the temple. I used to afraid of the spirit, the ghosts.
Yeah.
And behind temple, they bury people, the dead people. Dead people. And they burn the body.
Right.
But when I walk back to my mom home, I was afraid the sound. Sometimes I hear the sound like something dropping from the tree because they plant a lot of coconut tree.
Okay, yeah, that's a big sound.
Big sound. I was so afraid of that, but because they don't give me enough food at the hospital, so back and forth. And then during that time, I think my father, I heard something that they will take my father to kill. I heard about that rumor. And then at that time, during I stayed at the temple, my father was sick too. So they brought him to stay at the place I used to stay.
So you got to see him.
Praise God. But he stayed separate from me. He stayed in front, I stayed in the back. But it was so sad one night. And my mom came and told me that my father, he cannot talk. He lost the conscious.
Oh, wow.
While he's sleeping. And I went to see him. And he couldn't breathe anymore. And the nurse, before morning, the nurse said he already passed away by starving. So he's starving to death. And that time, I feel that he's better. He died better than he take him to kill. He died that way. It's better.
Yeah.
And then after he died in the morning, they took his body to bury. Sometimes they dig the ground, and they dig it one ground. They don't just bury one dead body.
Right.
And they just put some soil, dirt on top. And then they waiting for another person to die. They put on top of that. So many body in one hole.
Yeah.
And then myself, I feel like probably my turn. Because, I was skinny and all of that. And I would like to tell you the story before that.
Yeah.
Happened to me too. The same place. They went and took me from my family house.
Yeah.
They planned to torture me.
Really?
Yeah, in the one room at the temple. That room they made from the brick.
Okay.
And in the past, they used to let Hmong people stay. And they said to me, okay, you stay outside of the room. And I was so exhausted and tired. I feel like, okay, my turn. And then I put my krama, the scarf, and lay down on the floor. in front of that room and I fall asleep. And then after that, they came and said, it's okay, you can go back.
Wow.
So at that time, so I can go back. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was free. I don't know what's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
there must have been a lot of spiritual things going on.
Yeah.
Because that sounds so dark, and
Mhm.
yet there's these glimpses of light.
Yeah. So they let me back. So I back to the family. And so after that, my brother came, escaped from where he worked and meet. I told him the story about my father died. He was so sad about that too. But later on, my mom, he taking care of my young brother.
Yeah.
And we used the same thing. We used to work in the field. But later on, I think they start to have new thing. Every 10 days, they let us off one day to go and listen to the leader telling us what to do and listen to the song. So we kind of like have one day free, but we cannot stay at the place, but we had to go and listen to the meeting.
Right.
So I think later on after that, it gave us more food to eat. So I feel better. Okay. So I feel like I can survive right now with the food they gave me. Oh, before 1979, they separate young people like me.
Oh, really?
That escape us far away from the parents to live in Battambang.
Okay.
Far from Battambang. They let us stay in the forest. They separate the group of the youth and the girl and the man separate. And then we stay there probably about 4 or 5 months.
Really? Doing what? Really?
Working in the farm.
Okay.
Yeah, working in the farm. And then later on, I don't know what their plan.
Yeah.
They sent us back to the family. To stay with the family. And then one day I worked in the rice field, but near the airport in Battambang airport, I saw the airplane came and dropped the bomb.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, in
you
Battambang.
Saw that?
I saw the airplane.
Oh my gosh, you could hear it too.
I can hear it. And the leader of Khmer Rouge kicked us, said, go back to the place. You stay.
So you guys went back then?
Yeah, we went back to where we stay. And then the Khmer Rouge people start to pack.
Yeah.
Their stuff and their belonging.
Yeah.
And that day, I think in the evening, they move. They escape out.
Were those bombs Khmer Rouge bombing Battambang?
Vietnamese came.
Oh, I see. So they were trying to drive out the Khmer Rouge.
Yeah. So the Vietnamese came and took over. And we saw that. And I feel like I'm free now.
Yeah. So what did you guys do?
Yeah. And then that time, my mom, because she escaped to stay close to my aunt.
Yeah.
And then I had to say goodbye to my friend. I said, okay, I had to walk about 3 hours at least.
To get to the Thai border, right?
No, to get to my family.
Okay.
Because my mom, she doesn't stay in the village I stay anymore.
Right.
She moved and stay with my aunt in another province.
Okay.
And I know where she lives. So I say goodbye to my friend, and my friend said, don't go, stay with me because it's dangerous for you to go there. I said, no, I had to go and find my family.
Yeah.
So, and then I walked about 3 hours or more than that to get to my family, to my mom.
Yeah.
So we got together.
Oh, so wonderful.
I was so happy because so we can be free. Anywhere we can go. Yes. So I stayed there with my mom for about 3 nights. Yeah. And then my mom said, I don't want to stay in this village. Let's go and stay the village that we used to stay, be it close to the town. Border. No, to the town of Battambang town.
Okay.
So we know some family there.
Right.
So that's why we escaped by land, go to the town that we used to stay close to Battambang City.
And that was the place I think you said that's where your brother fished and you
Yeah.
guys,
Mhm. So we
you have
know
relationships
that
there.
we had a relationship there. So after that, my mom heard about the camp and the refugee camp in Thailand.
Oh, okay.
Even me and my brother, we used to go to the border. We used to buy things, trade things with the Thai people. In that time, we don't use money to buy things. We use gold. We bring some gold and trade.
Really?
And at night, we don't stay with the people. We stay in the forest. We are afraid that people rob us.
Right.
So, and then I brought back. When I look back, I shouldn't do that because I was younger.
So
but
dangerous.
because of the food supply, we need food. So my mom allowed me with my uncle and my brother to go there. And after that, we heard about refugee camp in the border of Cambodia and Thailand. So my mom decided to take me and my 5 brothers to the refugee camp in Thailand.
Okay.
And so when we got to refugee camp, we were so happy.
Yeah, I bet.
About that because we see like my mom crying. She said, "Oh, first time she see electric, you would call the youth generator in front of the camp. When we got out from the bus that they took us there, they checked us physical, like check our ear, our nose, make sure we are okay. So my brother was sick, youngest one, so they put him in a tent. They make a tent like a hospital, and they sent us to the group where we stay. So we were so happy, like we feel okay, it's a safe place for us to stay. And we had to, they give us bamboo, they give us straw to make our own place to stay. And every day they give us food, every couple of days they give us food to eat. And the water they give us, each of us we can go and get the water from one person. They give 1 bucket of water to use every day. We were so happy. And then during that time, one day, my mom said, I heard about near the mountain. So we stay at the camp called Kawyadang Camp and close to the mountain. And my mom said, let's go to visit the temple near the mountain. So my mom and me, we walked to the temple near the mountain. And when we got to the temple, we kind of, okay, this is the place that we used to worship before the temple. But for me, I look out in front of the temple, I see the group of people sat on the ground with the big roof they make from the straw and the pole made from the bamboo. I said to my mom, I want to know what they're doing there. A lot of people there.
Yeah.
So that's why I walked close and then sat on the ground because inside the roof, they couldn't put enough people inside.
Yeah.
So people had to sit outside under the sun. And so I took my shoe and sit on my shoe and listen. So in that time, I heard the story about they teaching, sharing about Goliath, King David.
David and the Goliath, yeah.
Yeah, they killed the Goliath, and then after I listened, and I feel like, wow, it's a good story. And then after they teaching, they said, anybody want to become believer, give their life to Jesus, come inside the church. So my mom and me became inside. They asked where we stay, and we tell, we stay and 3 sections. And they said, that place, they have a small group too. I said, I know. I used to walk past by. I heard they sing a song. And then when I back to my place and I start to join with the youth group in the small group.
Yeah.
And my mom said, because I have my God, I believe in Buddhist, I cannot change because I used to have, they call Cambodia, make bond. I saved that in my whole life, and I cannot get rid of that. But because you are young and you have time, if you want to go yourself, it's okay, you can go and listen. And then I brave enough. I start to go by myself, and every Sunday I go. And after for probably about 2 months, and then they give me the Bible. Usually they give only the thin one, the New Testament Bible.
Right.
I don't like that because it doesn't look good. I want to have a thick one, the red one.
Totally.
So they gave me the New Testament and all
together.
Yeah. And then when I got that, I was so happy.
Yeah.
And I brought home. But what happened, because my house made from the straw.
Yeah.
And I hung out on the bamboo roof. One night, I forgot the rain came and got into my Bible and ruined my Bible. Half of my Bible ruined. And then I said to my mom, I said, I don't want to ask them another new Bible because they just gave to me. You know what? You just start to go for a couple weeks or something. And then you can ask
for a new Bible.
New Bible for me.
That's great.
And my
So your
mom, because she
going.
really liked me, and she go to get the Bible for me.
Wow, that's beautiful. How like what the enemy used for evil, God totally turned it around for something good.
Yes.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
And then she got the Bible, but she remember the pastor said, "Don't just come. You need to come again in order to understand."
Mm-hmm.
Yes, to say something to her about that.
Yeah.
And something stick in her mind. And when she got and listened to the pastor teaching, she heard about God create universe. God create the world. So she said, you know, when I was young, my grandma gave me a bath, and my grandma telling me about the Buddha teaching me.
Yeah.
And I asked her, who made me?
Yeah.
Who made all things? And grandma, she said, I don't know. I don't know about that. And that, I think that question keep in her mind.
Yes.
And when she heard in Genesis that God created the universe, she said, okay, this is the God that in my life I'm looking for this God for a long time.
Yes.
Now I find him now. So my mom started to understand, and she started to, start to go to church regularly. And then she joined with the women group.
Wow.
And she go around and sharing about Jesus to the people in the camp. And even she have a cousin live in the camp. She told her cousin about Jesus.
Yeah.
And her cousins, kind of like said to her, okay, people believe in Jesus, only people, not educated people. People were looking for help. That's why they go to church, they ask for help. I don't want to believe. And she said to my mom about that.
Yeah.
But the story, my aunt, when she came to the States, she received Jesus. That's why
praise God.
She told my mom about that. So, so when I received Jesus from the beginning, I don't really understand about that, because my story, I used to believe in Buddha.
Right.
I grew up with my strong belief, my grandma teaching me, and a kind of like a battle fighting within my mind. When they show the Jesus movie every month, they show Jesus movie behind the church.
Mm-hmm.
And my mind, I think, okay, comparing to Buddha. Buddha's story, before he was the king, he left the king palace, he left his wife to go to the forest to humble himself, not to eat food, and he was starving to death. And I compare him to Jesus. I said, Jesus, the same thing. You are real God. You have to die. Die to show that you are humble and die for people, to be example to people. So in my mind, I think about that. And later on, I think took me for a long time to clear up my mind. No, Jesus is not the religion. Jesus is not the people. Jesus is not a human. Jesus is the real God. Jesus is from the beginning. Oh, it's not that Jesus born from something. Jesus, the one that create universe. Jesus, the one that create people. Jesus' power can do all kinds of things. But I understand the story about God create Adam and Eve, that they don't listen to God. They listen to the Satan, trick them. And they want to have a power to like Jesus. So they listen, and they don't, Adam, especially Eve, don't follow God, and they tricked by the evil, and that she picked up the fruit, and then she ate. And then after she ate, she gave to Adam to eat. And when God came and asked, "Where are you? What you doing?" And they all deny.
They all blame someone else.
Blame, like Eva blamed to the snake. And then Adam blamed to Eva. And don't accept that. That's why all of us become sin. We have to work hard, and we have to deal with up all things around us, the evil thing, try to trick us, try to let us do bad things, and all of that because our sin. And I remember Jesus said to Eva, said, when you pregnant, you will have a hard life, and when you desire, during that time, you desire for your husband, and because you are sin, and God said to Adam, said you have to work hard in the right field, the thorn and all of that, because you sin. But after I said, okay, God's so good. God is not from God, from my sin, that I have to deal with all of that, and the way that all of us work hard. And then I think God gave me wisdom, because all of us had to work hard to get sweat in order to have food to eat. And myself, I feel like before I eat, I had to work hard to get sweat. But because of that, made me become healthy. Make that body become more healthy. Because our body, and we had to use our body to work hard. I explained to the Hill Tribe people. I said, for example, you work in a farm, you have to use knife. You take care of your knife, you sharp your knife, and easy for you to use. The same thing with our body. We have to take care and using it before we go back to the dirt. God made us from dirt. So we have to go back to the dirt. All of us have to go back.
And we have to keep our spirit sharp too.
That's right, the spirit totally and our body. I mean.
So who is Jesus to you now? Because obviously your relationship with Jesus has developed and grown so much. Now you're sharing Jesus in the village with Craig. I love it. Brings so much joy to my heart. Who is Jesus to you nowadays?
Jesus is my all, everything. Jesus is my wisdom. Jesus is my power.
Do you find yourself talking and walking with Jesus like constantly, right?
That's right. All the time, I always find the way that, okay, I want to share about Jesus to this person. So I try to find the way that I have conversation with that person or with the group in order for me to tell them about Jesus. I said, when I share, I said, I used to believe in the Buddha before. Now I'm changing. But I'm not changing religion. I'm changing from the religion to believe in God that create all of us.
Yes. It's a very different. And I think, like you said before, it was much more religious. Like I have to go do this to get this. Or you mentioned the bun, your tua bun, and you're trying to get the merit. But then your relationship with Jesus is so different and so much more powerful, so much more full of love. What do you think is hard for when you share the gospel? What do you think is the hardest thing for people to understand? Because it's hard to understand Jesus, right?
Yes.
So what do you think people really need to hear and understand to really understand the gospel or have a chance of accepting Jesus?
When you share with Cambodian people, from the beginning, you ask them about relationship first. Where you come from?
How many
Where you
siblings?
born? How many siblings? So how difficult for your business right now? And how you survive with the difficult thing around you right now? Asking them in order for them to share, interested to listen to you first. And then, you can share about yourself, where you come from and where you live. And then start to talk about your belief. For example, myself, I said, I used to believe like you. I used to believe in Buddha before, but now I'm changing from religion to believe in God that create universe. So, so it's how I share about Jesus. And most of the people I meet them, most people said, when I said, when I believe in Jesus, they said to me, all religion is good. The religion teaching to do good thing.
Right,
to
right.
have a good person. And then I get to straight to the main point. No, it's different. When I believe in Jesus, it's not the same. Not the same like I used to believe in religion. This is what I believe in, the real God. My real God is different. So I can share, for example, I used to go to the temple. When I see the statue, I used to worship the statue. And when I believe in Jesus, I don't need to worship, the cross of Jesus. I don't put the cross and worship that.
Right.
When I believe in Jesus, Jesus come
Him, yes,
and stay inside.
I love it.
And then Jesus that changed my heart, and God understand what I struggle, what I'm doing. When I lie to people, I got see when I lie. I know now. I want to tell you, I still sometimes I'm lie. Sometimes I'm say things not hurt people, and sometimes I'm greedy. Sometimes I look down on people. After I believe, I still have something like that. But Jesus, after I'm doing that, Jesus convict me.
Yeah, praise God.
Now you the same thing. You do the same thing. So Jesus, when Jesus telling me, convict me, I said, God, forgive me that. Sometimes all come back to me.
Yeah.
But I know that when I ask you, forgive me. So please help me not to doing that. But all of us are human.
Yes.
We still have all of that.
And God is patient with us.
Yeah, God patient.
Thank you, Lord.
And then the word Cambodian said, you try to do good thing.
Right.
You will get good thing back.
Yeah.
But Mallow.
Right.
But with Jesus give us good
Oh, praise God. Yes.
already ព្រះអង្គបានឲ្យល្អមកខ្ញុំដូច្នេះបានល្អហើយ
I love it. That's the gospel.
ដើម្បីខ្ញុំធ្វើល្អ so God gave me good thing and so in order for me to do good thing to the
Praise
other
God.
people
I love that.
so
good.
yeah so I like to share about Jesus to the other people something simple about that
And it doesn't have to be complicated. God's love is just simply beautiful, right?
yes I think when people for example when they see me they see my action since they see me to walk toward them when I start talk to them they see me that I have something power from God to share
Yeah
about my
people
life
sense there's a spiritual sense that's heightened in Cambodia that people see and understand or feel spiritual things. So I've noticed that too a lot of times is that people can sense that thing that's different.
They comparing, they see that and they see when I meet Cambodian, when I sharing about Jesus, they never said, oh, people believe in Jesus, bad people, lie people. No, most of them, I have auntie, uncle, or my neighbor. They are good people. They, but I don't want to change. I don't want because they look at believer. They think maybe no freedom, no fun, because they always see all believers.
They don't drink as much. They don't get drunk.
They don't get drunk, and when they get together with the family, they can free and joke around.
I joke around a lot with my family.
But I mean, joke around, but different way from believer joke.
We don't jay as hard. We still jay, but not in like a putting down sort of way.
Down, and they talk about, make fun about somebody else they meet. I mean, the way they joke. They say about government or something, joke around. So, like for us, when I meet my relative, I think my relative, they don't feel comfortable for me to be there because they cannot say all of that. And they don't talk.
Gossiping is kind of off limits. It's going to hurt.
And talking about that. And myself, when I'm around them, I feel like I don't know really what to talk to them either because they don't want to hear me talk about Jesus and don't want to hear me tell them to be honest, tell them to trust in Jesus or something. So I think it's not easy for me to being around with my relative too. But what I can do is just inside of me, I pray. Anything I can help to cooking or cleaning dishes or cleaning something, I offer them. Anything I can do, or I'm generous before I go to visit my relative. I buy food, I buy fruit. I want to show them, I want to bring something.
God's love
to
and
appreciate them, to invite them to their home, helping watch their kid, play with their kid.
And these are things that happen naturally inside of you too. You want to do these things, right? You want to bless people because you feel so full of that love.
That's right. If they ask me about sickness, I said I can help what I can know about what hospital they can go or I experience to bring patient there or anything I can help them. So
no, I really appreciate that. And I remember when I was up in Ratnakiri, I remember your heart to, we were spending time with the youth and how you brought things for them and really just kind of provider love. Like you just loved blessing people. I saw that all the time. I love that. So I thank you so much. I think it's a great example of those who have been filled with Christ's love. So thank you.
Yes, I think from God gave different gifts. I really admire people that they are educated. They use their skill to teach people and they use their skill to help and train people. So I really admire those people that whatever God give us,
I love that.
and we share our gift to help the other people.
I love that.
So for me, you asked me, is that difficult for me to doing that? When the sick people come to my home, it doesn't matter what time. I will get up and then help.
Yes.
They ask me to bring them to the hospital. I will jump in my motorbike or my car and bring them to the hospital. Joy from my heart. Okay, I feel like, okay, something I can help.
Yes.
Yeah,
Amen.
this is, I think God gave me this gift since I was born. I always have a heart to reach out and help poor people.
Yeah.
When I stay in my family, and I always feel like, my family is not wealthy, but I always see the other people poorer than me.
Mm-hmm.
And I always appreciate my parents, my relative.
Yeah.
So I think God prepared my life to been through the war.
Yes.
And the communists, and God let me free to go to another country I never dreamed in my whole life. Go to America. After I already became believer, when I start to go to church, like the believer welcome me. They always ask me, how are you? How your family doing? And then like they always stop and ask me about that. So I think I see that.
Yeah.
I see the believer always give time.
Yeah.
Give time to people around them. And I see the example. And when I got the state, the government, America government, like prepare us since we live in the refugee, give us enough food to eat. And then one camp to another camp, they check our health before we got on the plane. And when we got to the state, they have the sponsor come and welcome us to the airport. Yeah. I tell you, they use the believer, they use the churches to sponsor, to take care of the refugee, Cambodia refugee when they got to the state. But for me, it's easy because I already believer.
Yeah.
Easier than some of my people, they not believe. They don't understand. So when I see the love from the believer, I think it's and gradually start to change my life.
Yes.
I said that I want to do like them.
Yeah.
I want to serve people like them. And God answered my prayer.
Absolutely.
When I got to the state, I think couple men, non-believer, want to marry me. And I don't.
Yeah.
I reject. Said, no, I'm not going to marry with non-believer. My strong faith is I'm waiting for God to meet my partner, the person I married. I want to have strong belief because I see people, believer married with non-believer, they don't have a peaceful life.
Right.
Yeah, the way they live is different. What God said, like you cannot marry to a non-believer.
And
it's truth about that.
For sure. And so, God obviously prepared someone for you.
That's right. So I wait 9 years to wait until I met my husband. Yeah. And when I met him, I said, okay, he's the one. Wow. But I kind of like testing him too before I married him.
Like how did you test him?
How I testing him, I'm not a person when I meet him, right away, okay, pleasing him.
Right.
Doing something make him like me. I kind of like, okay, by
just want to watch.
Slow
let's
watching.
See. What does he like?
Yeah, from long distance.
Yeah.
So it's simple. In that time, he said, when he met me for 5 months, he said that what my plan is, I will go to Ireland to study couple months. And I kind of like testing him. I said, you can go. After that, we can think about marriage. I'm not a person like, okay, when he go, he can change mind. not to marry me.
Yeah.
I want to testing him. If he still like me, come back and talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
If God planned, we can still marry.
What did you like the most about Craig when you first met him?
The first I met him, one thing, he 1988, he came to the camp I used to stay in refugee camp.
Really?
Cambodia came. And then when he came back, he talked to my pastor Cambodia. He's American, but he married to Laotian lady.
Okay.
And said, oh, I need to learn the Khmer culture because I really interested. If God opened the door, I want to go to Cambodia, work as a missionary. And he asked my pastor about that. And my pastor said, oh, I know one family. They have room for you to stay. And he stayed with, he want to stay with Cambodian. And my sister, because during that time, she owned an apartment and then she had extra room and she never stay home because she owned grocery. And then, so Craig ended up staying in one of my sister apartment that time. And my sister she stayed in the first floor apartment and under the Cambodian family stay. I think he feel like perfect for him.
Yeah.
So he can learn the culture, he can learn the language.
Totally. Yeah.
And then he never talked to my sister because she's a busy lady. And one day,
your sister was really busy.
Yeah. And one day, the youth in my church, they have a conference in another place and drive about 2.5 hours to get there, Wisconsin. We live in Chicago, called Uptown Baptist Church that I go to worship. And then my pastor said, 2 people need a ride. I don't drive. And then my pastor asked him to pick me up, but not only me. Another couple, they all dating.
Oh, okay.
And after that, Saturday, I work on Saturday, and I work half day, and he came to pick me up. And I have to sit in front with him. And I have to force myself to talk to him.
Force yourself? It was that hard?
It's hard. Because, I don't really know how to talk to men. Surround with my brother and my mom, my sister. And then when he asked me question, I answer him. When he asked me question, I answer him. And later on, he surprised. Said, I never know your sister. Now they have a sister.
Yeah.
And the 2 people sit behind me. They are dating.
Yeah.
Like they are together. And then later on, he came and then tell my sister about that. Said, I never know you have a sister. And then she started to learn about me, asking the family apartment under my sister.
Yeah.
And that those people, they know me very well. They all believe that.
Right. Really? Okay.
Yeah, they know me since I get to the state, and then Craig ask them about me, and she like
Sapsua.
Yeah, Sapsua. And then that lady, she strong belief, and she asked him how many percent that you want to marry same post, and ask him question, how many percent you want to marry her? She kind of like, you thinking about 50%? Maybe not. Maybe over 50. I can tell you more detail about her. So that her correct thing about that. And then like she said more than 50. And then so she can tell more detail to him about me because he know me very well. And I think really, really want to marry me. I think one thing that I am believer. I am, that I am humble. I'm generous. I am a generous person. And I'm maybe I'm nice person. And then,
Paired you up?
yeah. But I mean, no, she's not forcing him.
Right. But, they approved of it. Though.
Yeah,
They helped you out.
Yeah, help me out and testing him like me. I testing him. And he asked another person, he asked my pastor.
Oh,
because my pastor know me since I start to go to church too. So
we go.
And make up his mind because he doesn't really know me well. Because I'm not really go out alone with him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I go out with him later on, but I go out to the Christian concert. I go out with him to the church. One time, he asked me to go out to eat too, but he doesn't really ask me the deep question. I kind of like shy, when he asks me, I answer. So we never talk about really
deep stuff.
So
when did you start talking about the deep stuff?
Deep stuff? He telling me that after married, I want to go to Cambodia.
Yeah.
You want to go with me? The deep stuff. I said, I answered right away. I said, it's okay. Because Cambodia is my country. And I born in the Phnom Penh, in the city. I still have relatives there.
Right.
I think it's easy for me because I don't need to learn the language. I don't need to learn the culture, and the food I used to eat. I said, it's okay.
Yeah,
I go with you. But I didn't prepare. I telling you. The other side, I don't think it's good. I didn't really prepare myself to be a missionary. So I'm kind of like naive about that. So I just come with him. I follow him like the daughter follow the father. So this is my story. I just follow him up until now.
Well,
I still follow him. I tell you.
Praise God, because I think that you guys have worked really good as like a couple together. Is there kind of anything you want to tell the audience they're considering missions or they're younger missionaries? Any encouragement or anything else you want to leave them with as we wrap up?
I think that important is find Jesus in your life. You have good relationship with Jesus first. Understand about God first. What God wants you to do. And then later on, open mind to learn from people around and serving anything that you can do to serve at the church or anywhere. Humble yourself to learn, to serve. And I think God will send some people to share and to lead, to direct you to go.
Wonderful.
So this is
Thank you
my advice.
So much. It's so great to have you. Thank you very much for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
I hope you were touched by Jenny's story. I know that I was while I was conducting the interview, and it definitely was humbling for me to realize all the things that people went through during the Khmer Rouge. Jenny is an OMF missionary, so if you're interested in becoming an OMF missionary or looking at some of the opportunities that OMF has, check out opportunities.omf.org. And in the meantime, I'm praying that this episode inspires you to follow God's calling wherever and whatever that may be. Peace.